Welcome to Trending Today podcast. Everything you missed today in 15 minutes. It's paradise, right? Florida, sun, beaches, but something's unsettling. A palpable anxiety, a creeping unease.
It's that gorgeous facade, that vibrant surface, hiding a deeper, darker truth, isn't it?
Exactly. And photographer Anastasia Samoylova captures it, hauntingly.
Oh, tell me more.
Her work, Flood Zone, and her exhibition, This Is All Pink and Attractive, But We Are Going to Die, doesn't show typical climate change imagery. No melting glaciers here.
So what does she show?
The subtle, everyday signs, the decay specific to Florida. Cracked pastel concrete, flooded pools next to luxury homes.
Juxtaposition, the surreal, almost ironic.
Ironic, absolutely. And those colors, pink, vibrant, yet artificial. It's unsettling.
A premonition, a sense of unease. The beauty is still there, but
Tainted, laced with fragility.
yeah, like a beautiful flower starting to wilt.
Exactly. And that aesthetic, that beauty and decay, mirrors how so many Floridians feel.
Climate anxiety?
Yes. The fear. Florida's on the front lines, right? Rising sea levels, intense hurricanes, extreme heat.
It's not a distant threat. It's happening now.
And that's the thing. It's not some abstract, far-off future. It's the here and now. It's that creeping realization that their landscape is transforming.
Irreversibly, perhaps. And then there's hurricane season. 6 months of, what, stress, vigilance, waiting?
Absolutely. Wondering if this is the year.
The year the next big one hits?
And the ground beneath their feet? Impermanent. Threatened.
Samylova's work, it resonates, doesn't it? It forces you to confront these uncomfortable realities.
It does. Her photos, they linger. They prompt reflection, hopefully a deeper engagement with this complex reality.
Even with the political pushback against climate action, the reality is undeniable. These photographs are a visual representation of that collective anxiety, aren't they? The psychological toll of living in a precarious paradise, a call to acknowledge the anxiety, to confront the uncomfortable truth, and to, well, do something, find solutions for Florida and beyond.
It's fascinating how Samoylova sidesteps the grand, sweeping vistas of traditional climate change imagery, isn't it?
Yeah, no polar bears clinging to shrinking ice floes. It's more insidious, more localized.
Precisely. And by focusing on Florida, she's zeroing in on a very specific, very vulnerable landscape.
And the title of that exhibition, This Is All Pink and Attractive, But We Are Going to Die. Wow, that's a statement.
Right? It hits you hard. It encapsulates that unsettling juxtaposition of beauty and impending doom.
The pastel colors, the cracked concrete, it's like a beautiful decay, a slow-motion implosion, almost seductive in a morbid way.
It is. That's exactly it. This morbid beauty. Like a wilting flower, you almost can't look away.
And the alligators, displaced alligators, that image really sticks with you. It speaks to the disruption, the intrusion of nature into these manicured, artificial landscapes.
It's like nature is pushing back, reclaiming what was lost, albeit in a chaotic, unsettling manner.
Absolutely. It's not a gentle reminder, it's a stark warning. Look what you've done, it seems to say. And the flooded pools beside luxury homes. Oh, the irony.
The irony is palpable. This stark contrast underscores, I think, the inequality inherent in the climate crisis. Who can afford to rebuild? Who gets left behind?
Exactly. And these images, these pastel pinks, these flooded pools, they're not just documenting the physical decay, they're capturing the psychological impact too, right?
It's that unsettling beauty, isn't it? That allure of decay.
Like a wilting flower, yeah? You're drawn to it, but it's tinged with sadness, a sense of loss.
Exactly. Loss. That's what a lot of Floridians fear, right? The loss of their homes, their way of life, their very landscape.
And it's not a distant fear, is it? It's happening now, today.
That's the thing. It's not some abstract threat anymore. The rising sea levels, the stronger hurricanes, it's all so real, so immediate.
And the psychological impact, well, that's huge.
Climate anxiety. It's a palpable thing. That low hum of worry, always there in the background.
Especially during hurricane season, right? 6 months of waiting, watching.
Wondering if this is the year the big one hits.
Exactly. And what about the more insidious changes, the slow creep of saltwater into the freshwater systems, the subtle erosion of the coastline?
It's like a slow motion disaster, right? Unfolding right before their eyes, and they feel powerless.
And the heat, the relentless, oppressive heat, it's becoming unbearable, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's not just the physical discomfort, it's the psychological toll, too. That feeling of being trapped, of being stifled. Hmm.
It all adds up, doesn't it? All these factors contribute to this collective anxiety, this underlying dread
It's that ticking clock, isn't it? That constant reminder.
of impending something. Doom, change? It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's there, under the surface.
Exactly, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Samoylova captures that, I think, that suspended anticipation.
6 months of hurricane season? Imagine the toll that takes, the constant vigilance.
Exhausting, right? Emotionally and physically draining. Always looking over your shoulder, wondering if this is the year.
Oh, the year the big one hits. And even when it's not hurricane season, there's that low-grade anxiety, the creeping realization that the ground beneath your feet
Is disappearing. Literally, bit by bit. The coastline eroding, the saltwater intrusion, it's insidious.
And it's not just the physical changes, it's the psychological impact too, right? The constant awareness of vulnerability.
Absolutely. That feeling of impermanence, of being on the edge. It's unsettling, to say the least.
Samoylova's work doesn't shy away from that, does it? It forces you to confront it.
It's not a sugar-coated portrayal of paradise, that's for sure. It's raw, honest, and deeply unsettling, in a way that makes it all the more compelling.
It's that immediacy, isn't it? The happening now aspect. It's not some distant threat anymore. It's in their backyards, in their living rooms.
It's that subtle shift, right? The slow, creeping changes that are so easy to overlook until they're not, until it's too late.
And the psychological weight of that, it's immense. Imagine living with that constant underlying dread, that uncertainty.
It's that immediacy, isn't it? That it's happening now aspect that really hits home.
It's not some distant threat looming on the horizon anymore, is it? It's here, right now, in their backyards.
Literally in their front yards in some cases. Think of those flooded pools right next to those luxury homes.
The irony is thick, you could cut it with a knife. Almost obscene.
And yet there's this strange beauty to it all too, right?
That's what's so unsettling about Samylova's work. The allure of decay, the morbid fascination.
Like watching a slow motion car crash. You can't tear your eyes away.
It's that pastel palette, isn't it? The pinks, the faded blues. It's all so deceptively serene.
Serene, yes, but with this underlying menace, this sense of fragility.
Sound of waves crashing. And that sound, the waves, it's a constant reminder, isn't it?
A constant reminder of what? The power of nature? The precariousness of their existence?
Both, I think. It's a lullaby and a threat all rolled into one.
So we're talking about climate anxiety, but it's more than just anxiety about the future. It's about the present too, right?
Absolutely. It's about witnessing the changes happening right now, seeing the familiar landscape transforming before their very eyes. That's got to be unsettling, to say the least.
The ground beneath their feet literally disappearing bit by bit.
And what about the political climate, the pushback against climate action? That's got to exacerbate the anxiety, right?
It's like they're being gaslit almost. The reality is staring them in the face, but they're being told it's not happening.
And Samylova's work, these photographs, they're a testament to that reality, aren't they? A visual representation of that collective anxiety, that psychological toll.
It's that unsettling beauty, isn't it? That allure of decay, like a train wreck, you know? You can't look away.
It's morbidly fascinating, yeah? Like a wilting flower. You're drawn to it, but it's tinged with sadness, a sense of loss, inevitable loss.
And the sound, the waves, always there. A constant reminder.
Of what, though? The power of nature? The precariousness of, well, everything? Our existence?
Both, I'd say. It's a lullaby and a threat all at once. Soothing, yet terrifying, like the beauty in Samylova's work.
So we're talking about climate anxiety, yeah? But it's bigger than that, isn't it? It's not just anxiety about the future, it's about the present, too.
It's about witnessing it right now. Seeing your Your world, your landscape transform before your very eyes. The ground beneath your feet literally disappearing bit by bit. Insidious.
And then there's the political climate too, right? The denial, the pushback against climate action. That's got to exacerbate the anxiety, don't you think?
It's like being gaslit. The reality is right there, staring you in the face, but you're being told, no, it's not happening. Everything's fine.
And Samoylova's works, these photographs, they cut through that noise, don't they? They're a testament to that reality, a visual representation of that collective anxiety, that psychological toll.
They linger, those images. They stay with you. They force you to confront it, this uncomfortable truth. And hopefully they spark action, inspire solutions, not just for Florida, but for everyone, everywhere. Because let's face it, this isn't just a Florida problem.
It's a global problem with very local consequences. And Samoylova's work brings that home, forces us to confront it, to feel it viscerally. Thanks for joining us today on Trending Today podcast. We hope you tune in again tomorrow for more on the stories shaping our world.
And for me, a huge thanks to all our listeners. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay curious.